So I would say let's start. We're going to talk about the messaging market trends, right? Not only for this year, but let's see if we can get an outlook for next year as well. So I'm sitting here with, first of all, a warm welcome to you guys here in the audience, the massive thousands of people here with together with us in this beautiful stadium in Miami. And don't laugh. And I would like to give them a quick minute to introduce themselves, because I would like to know what they all have to share with us and to share with you actually in this roaring market. It's called messaging. So Anastasia, if I may give you the microphone to start off. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Anastasia Ivanets. I'm Business Development Manager in Lang Telecom. We're a telecommunication company with 22 years experience in telecom market, working not only with messaging, but as well with voice, anti-fraud systems, and eSIM solutions. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Fabrizio. I'm the CEO and owner of Horizon. We build messaging platforms, infrastructure for the messaging industry, like messaging platforms, campaign managers, SS7 technology, all that you guys can fly in this great market.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Bernard Fonseca. I'm the Director of Wholesale of Go4Mobility. We work in SMS for the retail market, for the wholesale market, and on voice with DIDs, API solutions, and voice transit worldwide.
Thank you so much. Any questions so far? Who am I? You know, the hour would not be enough, right? So many stories. Anyway, let's kick off. And Aurelia's looking at me like, don't do this anymore. Yeah, stop it. But teasing is one thing, right? So kicking off, and maybe with you, if you allow me, Fabrizio. The trends. What did we see? What were the key concerns? How did the messaging market actually evolve post-COVID? So what happened this year? What are your thoughts? And just to kick this panel off.
Okay, I think the messaging industry was hit by the loss of all the traffic, what they got as a gift through COVID time, because all of a sudden the volumes went up. Of course, you get used very fast to that moment if the volumes goes up, and then all of a sudden it goes down heavily. So they have to rearrange. I think what I saw as a trend in this year was the rise of inbound traffic. So inbound numbers, long numbers you see the tendency of two-way messaging now because of that. And I think that was what I was really seeing as a trend. Another one, what I was observing was the machine-to-machine traffic in SMS. So it's not only OTT, there is more and more IoT devices, which is not opening only a data connection, but also sending SMS. And actually, this is a really nice amount of traffic, what is coming. And I also see that this is a big part of our future, handling machine-to-machine traffic via SMS.
Okay, thank you. The future will come hopefully a little bit later. Anastasia, what's your take on the messaging landscape for the current year? What happened?
We can see the increase of rates from mobile operators in Asia, Africa, and CIS countries. And with this increase, we can see more and more fraud. My team telling that 10 to 20% of A2P SMS traffic right now is already artificial generated. And we think that messaging will find, like enterprises and businesses will find other ways to deliver message to the phone. It can be RCS, it can be WhatsApp Business, Viber messaging, and alternative ways how the people can receive their codes and information.
Okay, thank you so much. Bernardo, what's your take? What happened this year?
So definitely what Fabricio said about we had a huge boom. So we had a record month in February last year when things opened up after the pandemic. But we saw already Q4 with very high volumes again on SMS. Actually, we had, I think, November this year was the second biggest month on SMS for us in our history. Prices have increased, which means operators now realize the value of A2P SMS. I see that as a good thing because 10% margin of 5 cents is better than 10% margin of 1 cent. But Fabrizio was talking to me yesterday on one thing and said if it goes too much up, and we know how mobile operators tend to either just too much up or too much down, then we might suddenly affect the return on investment of SMS campaigns. I think there are other three things that we saw in 2022. One is fatigue. So consumers are getting fatigue of the digital and the constant usage of smartphones, and actually chatbots and SMS are easier ways and less tiring ways to reach these customers versus, a call center where you are there 5 minutes waiting for somebody to talk to you, or those endless instructions that you see sometimes on the sites of Google and Microsoft to explain you things that you actually don't want to know about everything. This is one thing, which means we might have more traffic coming into SMS. The second one is artificial intelligence. These processes will go into the SMS flows and will help repetitive things that can be done on chatbot and over SMS to facilitate and reduce this fatigue and actually be more efficient for the companies. And the last one that we saw is that there's a huge increase on e-commerce through mobile. So since 2015 until now, the amount of purchases has been done on mobile went from 35% to 59%. Which means companies have realized that actually through SMS with links, they can increase mobile site traffic. And you see more campaigns going on into this to actually capture that traffic into the sites. And there are more, but I think these ones mentioned by my colleagues and are actually an indication that 2023 will be a good year. There are a lot of things to do.
Okay, we'll get to that. Let's. You mentioned that luckily that the prices went up, so the messaging market / telco world didn't make the same stupid mistake as the voice guys back then, right?
I hope so.
So, well, we saw the increase of rates, but can you explain the audience are there any specifics for, let's say, in the geographical? Is it more in LATAM where the rates went up, or?
Well, we work a lot in Africa and LATAM, so we definitely saw it there. Brazil was the first start. Now, these regions, normally they need to differentiate something, which is the local market purchasing power, and then how they can monetize the traffic that is actually paid by international companies. So we saw a move that complicates things, which is to separate national prices with international prices. And then from when you start that, starts arbitrage and fraud and VLN connections and all these type of things. I understand them because we manage, for example, things in Mozambique. And we know that Vodacom and TMCell, they cannot just increase the price of SMS locally. Otherwise, small business cannot cope the campaigns and everything they do. And they will then pass that cost into consumer, which again, doesn't have the capability to absorb that. So we saw that a lot in Africa and LATAM, and we think it will continue. It's good if it goes until a certain point, and if they actually can control both channels and avoid this type of arbitrage. And then you see a lot of movements going into SMS firewalls, because then operators realize, for me to protect this approach, I need to control the entering points. So, and this is a run that has already been going since 2021 for the ownership of the SMS firewalls in the mobile operators. We have also now made a partnership with Mobilium to address that market, and we'll be on that run too, probably with our friends from Lang.
Okay, that's good. So thank you. Acronyms. I think we are in a business where we always invent the most beautiful acronyms: CPaaS, UCaaS, omni-channel, multi-channel, whatever channel, I don't know. Fabrizio, omni-channel. Where are we? Are we there? Is it there? Or are we just talking about it? What's your take on omni-channel?
So I think regarding the buzzwords, our industry was very heavy driven by, let's say, investors' buzzwords. So everybody was chasing the buzzword and not really the money. So investors invested in CPaaS, so everybody did CPaaS. Now investors doing CCaaS, so everybody does CCaaS, and so on. So I think it's not really what they do; it's just what they maybe plan to do. Because if you check where they do the money in the messaging industry, they do it with a good old SMS. Regarding omnichannel, I mean, let's face it, we should enjoy the time we are living now, because we will never have again so little amount of different messengers like today. And we have already a lot, but I think there will be a tsunami coming in the future. So this is something what we just have to face. And, this omni-channel thing, our industry sometimes when I talk with my colleagues, it sounds like, oh, we are late and we have to jump on this train. And I see it completely different. I think this is still in embryo status. I think it's the beginning of it. Enterprises, they are the main enterprise. I don't say, there's early adopters, but I think the big bunch of enterprises out there, these guys are still busy with taking care about TikTok, Instagram, and all this. So omnichannel for now, it's, I think, just too early, but it will come. And now we will just more or less overwhelm the brands. But for sure, this is the decade of messaging, and it will rule, but not tomorrow. Maybe in 2, maybe in 3 years, but not now. Now I think it's SMS still reigning the messaging industry.
Okay, thank you. Anna?
I think that omni-channel, it's like good opportunity, but it never ever will replace A2P SMS, because like regular message can come to any phone anywhere. And for omni-channel, like other ways to deliver, we need to have internet, we need to have better coverage, but also omni-channel, like alternative ways to deliver a message, it help to save the money for enterprises, for small, medium, and big businesses. And it's depending what each company wants to deliver like better way and to better coverage message, or save money for alternative ways like WhatsApp and Lime and other applications. Is depending, but it will grow anyway. Like pin to speech already is quite popular. Mobile operators doesn't like it a lot, but businesses like enterprises loves it.
Because there's more margin in messaging than in voice, right?
Yes, and it's like cheaper.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, the pin to speech is cheaper than A2P SMS.
Okay, Bernardo, so what's your take on CPaaS and Omni? And
I think Fabrizio and Anastasia said it all. So if we look at it, companies and marketing managers, they want a bit of automation. So, but they are in the end, they are using SMS, which counts for more than 50% of the spend on CPaaS. They are using email, they are using voice. Omnichannel is almost impossible to achieve, because how are you going to have 6 or 7 communication channels and then actually having a dashboard for your customer care to see all the interactions the customer has done in all these points? So I think it's what Fabrizio and Anastasia are saying. Companies will have some use cases to address customers. They will probably start with SMS, jump to voice, or then to WhatsApp for business, but we're going to have is multi-channel and concentrated still a lot in voice, SMS, and email.
okay, you mentioned it, multi-channel. So can you explain to everybody who doesn't understand yet the difference between multi and omni?
So, omni, by what it says, is everything everywhere. I think we spoke last year, and I told at one of the discussions, I don't know anybody that has omni-channel. You know, can you have anybody can show me a platform that has Telegram, WhatsApp, SMS, voice, email, Viber, etc., etc. So I think that's one of those buzzwords to attract investors, that we were on a big wave, and then in reality, it's much simpler. So multi-channel is basically, and when you have omni-channel, you actually need for your customer care team to be able to see all these channels in one place, in one dashboard, to have all the connections, all the interactions your customer had with your company. Otherwise, you have those very nice things where you're starting to talk with Vodafone, for example, customer care, and then you'll move to a next channel, which, for example, you start on that chatbot, which now in Portugal and Spain is called Toby, and he's completely incompetent, and then moves you to a voice sync, and then the customer care agent doesn't know anything that happened and what you were routing to that chatbot. And so omnichannel is everything in a single point for the brand to be able to interact with the customer. Multi-channel is basically if you start a campaign with SMS and then suddenly you have a link and you go into a site, and then from that site you can go into WhatsApp, you basically used two channels to communicate with your customers. It's just more than one, nothing fancy, nothing difficult. And I think we are is in a multi-channel world, not an omni one.
All right. Cool. Any other trends we saw? Anna, anything? I mean, you mentioned a little bit about fraud, and as well, what you mentioned is the the WhatsApp for Business, and then we're going to bridge it a little bit to RCS if you want to, because you mentioned that as well, and to see where we stand. So I really would like to throw that curveball into this discussion and see where we end. And what your opinion is about that?
Yes, we're seeing that there is every year, every month right now, more and more fraud. That's why for companies like enterprises, aggregators and mobile operators, it's very important to have good anti-fraud solutions with artificial intelligence, which can dedicate different kinds of frauds and try to block it. Also, alternative way, it's RCS. It's very good question, because some people telling that RCS is something very strange. Other people telling that RCS is a future of messaging. Some companies invest a lot of money and time to develop the RCS product, and some other not. For Lang Telecom, till the end of this year, we will try, we'll do first massive campaign for RCS. We know that not in a lot of countries RCS service is working, but I'm living in Spain, and 3 operators provide RCS service, and we're testing how it works in Spain, and we're very happy with this service, because it's multi message. You can have the link, you can have the photo and information, and it use other way of not SMPP protocol, is as a protocol. And it can, we think as Lang Telecoms that RCS is the future of messaging.
Is that the fact? Maurizio, is RCS the future, or will it be killed already now? And or did we see pre-COVID that it was, let's say, coming up, but then COVID came, or the pandemic, then it was silent again. Mobile operators didn't want to do anything or work together with the guys, and now it's like, okay, let's get that thingy out of the closet again, and let's see how it works. Or is WhatsApp killing it already with everything?
So Anastasia, sorry, no.
So that was, thank you very much. Have a lovely day. And
No, I mean, look, RCS was not built for the user. It was built for the mobile operator. If the audience has kids, look, are they missing RCS? What are they missing? They are chatting with apps you don't use. They snap, they do this, they do that. No, I really do not believe at all in RCS. And, if Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, tells in a event that somebody was complaining that this user, which has an Android phone, or actually he has an Apple phone and he cannot send an SMS or an RCS message to his mother, his answer was, buy an Apple phone to your mother. So that's just, I mean, it says everything. It just says, look, we don't care. So, and as long as Apple will not support it, and it does not make sense for them to support, let's be honest, let's just see the ecosystem of Apple. It would weaken their ecosystem. And if somebody, if a company is really good in protecting their courtyard, then it's Apple. So no, or it works for all devices, then it can be, not will, it can be successful. But if 30, 40, 50% of the handsets will not ever have RCS, then success is impossible.
Okay. So even if Android has, let's say, 70% of market share, it will not fly because
nobody's waiting for this.
Okay.
And then there comes another thing. I mean, have you ever been in discussion how they want to price RCS?
Tell us.
Oh, that's so complicated. Session-based, this based, content-based. Oh my God! And then you go to the brand, and the brand, he just wants to sell, I don't know, a bottle of water. And then you have to explain him, yes, but if you do this, you have to pay that, and then it's session. And so he says, okay, I want to send a message to sell bottles. So you spend half a day just explaining the pricing model. Then they would say, you know what, I will just move my budget to Instagram and goodbye. So I think it's not realistic, to make complicated pricing models just because they search somewhere a business model. And by the way, they still did not all agree on a pricing model. I mean, RCS is 10 years old and they still don't know how to price it. Oh, come on. And I think mobile operators also give it up. I mean, what I hear outside, there are some, they have to, but there are also many that just say, look, we
So
stop
no
it.
value add.
No.
So let me ask you, who of you in the audience is in the messaging? Put your hands up in the air. Put your hands up in the air. There you go. So what do you think about, just throwing it at you. What do you think about RCS? That will be my next question.
Mohammed here from Broadnet. I don't want to talk about RCS specifically and the future or Broadnet. Just want to give you a quick story about my experience with it.
Please.
Can we all agree that Google is one of the biggest proponents and of this protocol? All right. I'm a very big Google user. I'm invested in almost all their ecosystem. I have a Pixel phone that I bought from Google. I have a Google service on the phone. By default, my phone, you cannot send me an RCS. I have to go in, configure something, enable it, so you can actually send me an RCS. You cannot say this about SMS with any operator or any phone anywhere in the world. So that's what I wanted to share.
And that answers already. Anybody else who's using RCS? Or what are your thoughts about RCS? No, that was my first question. No? So do you think we can drop the matter?
So if we want to talk about RCS as a future, I've been attending MWC for like about 10 years when they first started talking about it. To Fabrizio's point, they still can't figure out how they want to monetize it. And the pricing model is just too complicated. We tried to do it to exactly, again, the same point. The enterprises we engaged with did not want to deal with it. It was just too complicated. And that what you said exactly happened. They moved their budget somewhere else and they stuck with SMS. So our experience is consistent with what you said. So okay. we kind of supporting it, but we don't believe, at least in the near future, it's replacing SMS anytime soon. They've been trying for so long, but SMS keep growing, and I think it will still be.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your comments. So, okay, moving a little bit to the OTTs. My friend, what do you think about the OTTs? What are the latest developments? Do we care? Is it important? What's out there?
Well, I think depends on what our customers want to do. They are useful. If they want a general campaign, if they don't want to worry about if this customer supports or has WhatsApp or not in its phone, SMS is there. So operator channel, typical campaign. As Anastasia said, everybody in the world that has a phone can receive SMS. And that's right now 6.1 billion people worldwide and growing until 2025. Now, it's kind of sad, this story about RCS, because if we would evolve SMS, and SMS has evolved, you know, it has a capability of having links that to take you to sites, can take you to videos, can take you to documents, etc. Sometimes customers need something else, so OTTs are there for that, and they can actually, when they want to segment their campaigns, they can choose more focused scenarios through WhatsApp, through Instagram. Let's see where Telegram is going to take us. So it all depends on use cases from our customers. We need to work with them to see how to fit their automations, how to fit the scenarios they want to build. So both will be used. It matters.
Okay, Anna. OTTs.
I think it's very good.
Tell us why.
Yeah, because it's opportunity for the small, medium, and worldwide size businesses. Every company can find how and what they want to deliver. Also, it's important the price and if they want to receive the answer from customer or not. For example, WhatsApp business messaging allowed to chat between company and customer. Regular SMS in almost like in all countries is only one way. In some countries it can be two-way. But is depending. We as Lang Telecom provide different kinds of services, and we have clients only for A2P SMS or also for other ways.
Okay, Fabrizio.
So I think something changed fundamentally, you know, from now and 20 years ago. If you just, let's roll back and see how telecommunication was working 20 years ago or 10 years ago, then the mobile operators or the operators dictated the platform to use. You want to send a text message, that is SMS. You want to make a phone call, it's the green button, it's a TDM call. Today, you know, the times are over that not even close an operator can dictate which channel to communicate you can use. It's gone, you know, so the power is gone. That means the kids use Snap, they use WeChat, they use that, they use this, and who knows what will come. So TikTok also very big, and I think this is even good because in SMS there was not so much, because there is no competition, there is not so much innovation. But what you get if it's not so innovative, what you have is reliability, stability, you have coverage. I mean, this is really good features. Simplicity, this is all good. You know, we cannot just say because it's old, it's bad. I mean, a car is also 100 years old and we're still using and driving cars. It's a good invention, right?
So happy.
Yeah, you're happy. But in the OTT world, this massive amount of OTTs, they are in competition. Very heavy competition of innovation. And I think this is healthy. You know, I mean, they, as I just talked also yesterday with Bernardo, I'm, for instance, really amazed how many features Telegram is implementing. I mean, WhatsApp is in all the news if they just change the background color, and the Telegram is changing every 2-3 weeks, massive amount of features. So they are really driving innovation, but not only them, many others as well. And I think competition is healthy. In SMS, there wasn't so much, but it has other very important assets, what is important for the communication in the future. And I also really believe that SMS will is here to stay. It will not be gone just because there is Snap, there is TikTok, or whatever channel. It will remain for a few years. So we will have all really good years in front of us doing money with SMS. And also sometimes I have the feeling in our industry that we feel a little bit ashamed that we do SMS, because everybody says, oh, omni-channel, I do omni this, CPaaS, whatever. but hey, we do SMS. It's cool. It's old but cool. I mean, don't feel ashamed. We can do all good money. We all pay our salaries with it. But somehow, I just have the impression that people feel a little bit ashamed, for that, and that's a pity. Should be proud of that, and it will feed our mouth for a few years. I'm absolutely sure about that.
Okay, that's good. You mentioned growth. Do you foresee growth only in A2P or also P2A?
Everywhere. Everywhere. So A2P, of course, you have P2A, that's the two-way because they are accelerating to each other. For every inbound, you have an outbound, or maybe you have an outbound, which triggers an inbound. So this goes in this two-way section. What we see in this year already, the trend. And on top, the machine-to-machine traffic. And overall, if I see all our customers, it just goes up. So... and I don't see any trend which is stopping it.
I agree. It's going up. So if you look at the numbers out there from Juniper, they had to update the compound average growth rate, which was at like 3-4%. Now it's almost at 9%, and will continue to grow. We talk about all these use cases that CPaaS is going to bring. And again, more than 50% of the spend on CPaaS is SMS. So these cases are now not just on marketing, they are moving into the operational part of companies. So hospitals, they need to update their appointments. Industry, IoT is going to be a big mover of SMS. So the pass is up, definitely. Two-way messaging will help a lot. All the countries in the world have the possibility to do two-way. Some just do on short code, some do with short code on long numbers. So I think we are kings, in terms of messaging. The people that are sitting here are the leaders in terms of the channel that they use, which is SMS. So we should feel well about it. We are in good times. We are in a growing industry. And more, during the pandemic, where the whole world was suffering, we grew because companies realized they need to digitalize. So, and the amount of companies that still need to do this work, and remember, just European community, more than 80% of the enterprise tissue is small, medium enterprises that have not reached this point in time of digitalization. So we have huge path still to grow, the amount of use cases. If CPaaS accelerates, it will actually help SMS also, because SMS is always the trigger. Remember one thing, a brand wants to talk with anybody in this room. Can you imagine the marketing manager? Oh, do you have an iPhone or you have a smartphone? What do I use? They use SMS because it reaches everything. Why did brands use TV in the past? Because they can reach everybody. Then they realized they could not target, and it was damn expensive. So they decided, what else can I do? They did email. Email has huge problems in terms of reading and so on. So they use SMS, and they are continue to using, and they are seeing actually the benefits. What you were saying, Fabri, is a marketing manager goes and says, oh, I use SMS. That's old. No, it's efficient. It's simple. It's reliable. Has a huge return on investment. So it will continue to grow.
And 93% still reads their SMS. Full
now,
stop.
What I don't know, and I would like to hear Fabrizio about, is these new generations. I have a 13-year-old. I have a...
Good luck.
I have a 40-year-old and a 1-year-old.
All the best of luck.
What are they going to be checking? Are they going to open an SMS? If Douglas Perfume sends us something, are they going to be opening an SMS or not? If they are not going to be opening an SMS, then we need to foresee what are we going to do in 10 years' time when they have money. But right now, brands are worried is about people that are 30, 40, 50, and 60. And actually, the more higher up you are, normally your income is higher. So that's where they want to focus. So we have a lot of paths to go. Fabrizio and I will retire, hopefully healthy and wealthy, and the SMS will still be here and growing.
Okay, so throwing this curveball, Anna, what's your thought?
Our messaging team provided me information that A2P SMS has 2, maximum 3 years of like top, and after it will be so many fraud that the volumes of SMS will go down, and the companies will start to use other ways of messaging, not SMS. Personally, me, I traveled this autumn a lot to Africa, and I saw what kind of phones the people use there, and it's phones with um, keyboard. Yeah, the keyboard, and they are not able to receive RCS or WhatsApp business messaging. That's why I think in some regions like Europe, United States, probably messaging will go to like other ways, but in Latin America and Africa, it still will be A2P messages and the fraud.
Okay, so there's one of the biggest challenges you mentioned, that is
Yes.
the security, the fraud,
Yes.
data protection, these kind of things. But if you're saying it will, let's say for another 2-3 years,
Mhm.
A2P messaging will be there, but it will kill itself, or
Yes.
or not itself, but it will be killed by
fraud.
fraud. And if that's true, then for whatever channel, and then I'll come to your curveball, which you threw, Bernardo. What other channel then will be used, and will it not be misused as well?
I think it will be like different kind of channels. Right now, we have as Lang Telecom, pin to speech and text to speech, quite a lot of volume of this traffic. We will see, because the market, like COVID came and no one expect COVID, and after no one expect in telecom market that messaging will growing up so fast, because for Lang Telecom was at first as voice company, and starts from COVID, we start to be like receive a huge volumes of messaging and of messages, and we have it till now. We don't know. The situation is not only about market, it's also about the world, how it's changed and what else it will give us in the future. Right now, it's very complicated to tell where the messaging market will go to what ways. But A2P SMS will always stay because of the countries and people who doesn't have smartphones.
Okay. No, yes, sure.
What kind of fraud you are addressing that you think that the SMS will kill by itself just because? What type of fraud are you addressing?
It's different kinds of fraud, but for example, I'm living in Spain, and since
Lucky you.
thank you, I love Spain. But since start of November, every day I receive SMS with alpha name Correos. It's like post service of Spain. I went to post office and asked, why you send me every day these messages with a link, and you're telling that I need to pay like €2 and something for something. And they told, no, this is fraud campaign in Spain. It's always in November, December, and is dedicated for old people who don't understand what does it mean fraud. That's why different kind of frauds, but it's and we cannot do anything with that.
True. But you remember we talked last year, I think, and I brought up the numbers of bank clerk fraud. And we're not shutting down banks because there's bank robberies or bank fraud. This is a fact. And I'll tell you, for example, what we did in Portugal, which I think was the right approach versus what happened in Dubai, which was the wrong approach. So we work with Altice and Vodafone, and basically they implemented a firewall, and we actually manage senders with them. So everything which is post office, banks, tax authorities, and so on, we don't open it to almost any type of customer except one or two that we know we can trust. And this is what we call self-regulation. which worked very well, and the levels of fraud in Portugal went down massively. Of course, what we cannot avoid is the one done with SIM farms. Okay, so whenever you have a massive channel of anything which is profitable, you'll always have fraud. And this happens in the traditional world, in the digital world. We just need to find the ways to manage it. It is a risk if we go to the approach that we had on in the United Arab Emirates, when from one day to the other they shut down everything, and suddenly we represent, for example, Sakur Brothers, which is a fashion brand that's also present there, and they could not send anything from one day to the other, and the process to make that go through was very complicated. We see another bad example, which was US, with the registration of campaigns and with the TFNs and the 10 DLCs, and then the campaign gets registered, and then they have somebody there in the back. They just canceled tokens from a bank customer of us into the US last week, saying it was fraud. This is the wrong way of doing it, and this actually kills the market. But I think fraud exists, we need to be aware of it, but it's something we'll just address it with the regulation and the rules and common sense. But it is a problem, right? It is a problem.
But is it never too late? Is it not always too late?
No, I think you remember, when we were little kids, the problems would be at the bank with some clerk that would trick your grandfather to pay something that actually should not have been paid. Now it's on SMS. There's fraud everywhere. It's the world. There's fraud. If you look at any industry we work on, there's always a bit of fraud. There's always burglars. We just need to see how, housing market, houses get robbed. Except cryptocurrency, yes.
You want to go into that? Well, Fabrizio, is he right? Do we need to accept that? We are like the human beings are like that. We need to price it in.
You cannot blame the channel because I have to tell you a story. Do you know that I have an uncle in Nigeria? I just inherited $10 million. Yeah, I got an email yesterday. No, really, I'm a rich man. 2 weeks ago, or was last week, I have I have an auntie in in Ghana, also 5 million. I have a lot in whole Africa. I have parents, I have relatives. So what I want to say is, it's just a channel. I receive email just because I have. I'm a rich man because I have family in Nigeria. In Nigeria, it does not mean that I will stop using email. So I think it's a very tough. Sorry, I don't want to blame you again. I feel like, but I think it's not. I do not agree that SMS will kill itself just because there is fraud. Because look, let's say you are Amazon and you send out millions of messages. By the way, millions of messages that your packet arrives tomorrow. There is no fraud in there. It's just very clean, proper traffic, and this will remain. Just because there are some guys which try to trick somebody does not mean that Amazon will just stop it. I don't see it like that. But that it's a problem, yes, I fully agree.
The guy, by the way.
Huh?
They're hiring that guy the next day.
Yeah, maybe. So you cannot blame a channel just because they are fraudsters. And actually, I like very much what you said, Bernardo, the self-regulation. And it's up to us, if we want to protect our industry. And maybe we should be a little bit more conscious and a little bit less greedy. Then maybe we could make this planet a little bit more, let's say, fraudless, to say it like that.
Make this world a better place. Right?
Well, we are messaging industry. We do not invent medicine against cancer. So I don't know if we really make the world better. But we do for sure making processes better and our life easier. That's for sure. Yeah.
Okay. So, Anastasia, we may start with you. Let's try to wrap it up a little bit. We talked a bit about what happened over the last years, what some trends were. What is your outlook for, let's say, for next year, and maybe for a little bit for the future? What do you think? What's in there? What can we expect?
I think the volume of SMS will grow in every year. And with that volume also will growing other ways to deliver message. A to B will still with us till the end of mobile phones era. But other ways, other applications, other channels will growing, developing, and the mobile operators would like to monetize that kind of business. They will accept.
Just an RCS message coming in. Sorry for that. I had to. I can't let go, you know. Was Google, right? Activation code.
Like mobile operators will try to monetize apart from A2P some other types of messaging. Enterprises will try to save their money and they will look for alternative ways, and the companies like will find like new applications, new ways. I think in near future we will see very quick change of adding a new ways of messaging. It's my opinion.
Okay, just one thing, and please, audience, think with me and with all of us. You were mentioning, you know, the enterprise or the end customer will find new reasons or other reasons, you know, to broadcast the message. Isn't it up to us to tell them what to do?
Of
Because
course,
they're absolutely not educated. I mean, yes, I mean, we can talk about the guys like Yotpo or whatever, or the marketing guys, they know, but they got educated by us little by little. But is it not, I mean, personally, I believe A2P will be there, I don't know, for how long? Because it's the only reliable source which there is to broadcast the message, to make sure it comes, that they read it, and that they get the message.
it will be, but it will be also with it's for example, like 100 years ago, it was only black coffee and black tea. And
Still,
right,
there is only black coffee. I know.
yes, but
Espresso.
espresso, americano, latte,
It's
and
not coffee anymore. No, no, no.
and it was like only black tea, and right now it's green tea, matcha, like herbs tea. It's like our world is changing fast. Before it was only like horses who move the people. After it started to be cars, right now we have only electronic cars, like
Those
other
are not
ways.
cars. Sorry. That's no, 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 no. I know everybody hates me now. I know, but no, no. I know. We're both petrol heads, so that's why.
And I think with messaging will be the same. Always will be A2P SMS, but every year will be a new alternative way how to deliver the information, the message to the phone.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So you will say there will be a bit more diversification.
Yes.
And while we go through this digital transformation, and the people will understand and we'll see more, and they just want to have going for a gelato, for an ice cream. I want vanilla, I want this,
Yes.
you know, or pistachio, whatever. Okay. Fair
I
enough.
think
No, fair enough. Fabrizio, what's your outlook? What's going to happen? What do we have to look out for?
For next year.
Yeah, and maybe a bit further down the line.
So what I see as a tendency is that mobile operators are making competition to aggregators, so that they will not just leave the whole aggregation market alone to the aggregators. So they they're yeah, for a while, yes, for sure, yes. But mobile operators are getting smarter. They have better systems, they're investing, and they're competing with aggregators. And that might be also will help a little bit to reduce the whole fraud thing, because enterprises then can buy the traffic directly from the operator, which I did not say that all aggregators are fraudsters. That was not my message here. But I know that there is tendency that big enterprises prefer to work directly with a mobile operator than via an aggregator. that's one tendency what I see. I still see that traffic goes, as I said, triggered by, I think this trend will continue. The two-way messaging, the chatbots will increase traffic because these are automated generated messages. So you say hello and then you trigger an answer and then you again and so on. So the whole ping pong will for sure ramp up and bring more traffic to our market. I think we will still be busy with trying to educate the market what other channels can do. But I have also to be very honest that we in telecom industry, we are the wrong guys to do that job, because we do not have the brand as a direct customer. Might be we have, but we will, if you see how marketing normally works, you have an agency which is sitting on the budget and they rule. So that means to educate actually a brand on a long term and to be very effective, you have to address the agencies. And then the agencies will then decide from this, I don't know, $1 million budget that they will address maybe 50,000 here, 10,000 there, and so on. So our job would be to educate the agencies, not directly the brands. This, I think, what will be smart to start with. But I don't see any panic. I just say, again, calm down. I think we are really early stage of this omni-channel, multi-channel, whatever channel you want to call it. But we should not stop. Just because it's early does not mean that we should not proceed with that, because it will come. And the question what you had, Bernardo, and your 4-year-old daughter, if she will read SMS, once you will buy her a phone, I hope she doesn't have now one. It's impossible to predict, you know. I mean, who know TikTok 3 years ago and look now. So I can really not predict, not even close. I would not dare to tell you what will be in 5 years. It's impossible, but it will be exciting, you know, and we are part of a very exciting industry. You know?
So for the wholesale industry, let's say it like that, or the likes of Lang and Go for Mobility and so on, you know, we said traffic is going up. Use cases are moving in from marketing to transactional and operational parts. So there's a lot to do. We saw what the operators did in Spain. They blew up the wholesale market. I can meet a company tomorrow from Asia that will offer me to SMS from Spain. So when operators take this approach and they basically destroy the distribution and don't apply it well, it's a problem. But we also saw a reverse there because they were focusing on revenue. And then they go back again and say, okay, actually, we do need distribution. So what we need to do is grow in the value chain, which is what we are doing at Go for Mobility, meaning in the countries where we are actually developing our API partners of the mobile operators when they actually go into a big corporate customer and the customer says, well, actually, I'd like my coffee flavor to have cream on top. And you know how mobile operators go and say, oops, no, you know, I just have this big box. I exist for scale. And at that point in time, if we manage our relationships with the operators in a good way, you can actually say, well, I'll go and do that. And actually, probably instead of charging an SMS, I'll charge a transaction fee and actually something more on top. So we'll need to adapt, but the future is bright. There's a lot to grow and they don't move fast enough. We know that. They don't move fast enough in order to capture everything. Probably the super brands will work with them, but in the end, they'll need adaptations. And there's the new whole world that's coming into the digitalization that will be captured by wholesalers. So I think we still have a lot to go.
Okay, thank you. You know, guys, when we do these panels, you know, and some people they say, but it's the same questions every year, you know, they're asking. But it is for a reason, because we make sure that we give people an update. And I know these panelists, and I'm so happy that you were here today, and thank you for that. You know, we brief them and we give them questions. And, you know, for me, what is the nicest thing to do is to come up with questions we did not prepare, you know, so that's always good. So Anastasia, just to get in there now, No, but it's an easy one. I mean, for Lang already many years in the industry, doing well, and first on voice, then on messaging, and especially as well on fraud. I know that Igor and the team were working there on that one very hard. So, all a question to all three of you, and starting with you, of course. And what can we expect from Lang in the future? What's there? Why should they work with you?
We have a new project. It's eSIM. We one of the 6 companies in the world who can manufacture eSIM for mobile operators or for companies who work B2C as a travel agency. And our eSIMs, like our team who's sitting here, myself, we use our eSIMs of our company traveling all the world. And we're offering as like the fourth business for Lang Telecom and for our customers eSIM service. If some mobile operators need eSIM, we can provide it. If some businesses need eSIM, we also can provide eSIM plus IMSI as well. Thank you.
Cool. Bernardo, for you, what can they expect from Go for Mobility in the future?
Well, trust and honesty. We'll always work like that with our partners. But basically, as we said, we are moving on the value chain. So our multi-channel platform will be out next year in Q1. Of course, we have one based on SMS and email, but we are adding automation and some other nice things for marketing managers to be happy. Although in the end they use SMS and email, but it is what it is. And we launched already this year certified SMS, which is part of this movement into digitalization. So any company that needs to send a contract, instead of signing things, they can send an SMS, which has legal value in all the European countries, plus Brazil, which is one of the passes, to digitalize the world, to lost documents, less paper, and based it on SMS.
Authentication, please, everything, and then it works, right? And we all make money. So, Fabrizio, some famous last words from you. What can we expect from Horizon? I mean, you position yourself always like, guys, you all like to fly, right? But you need a plane to do so. And you're the one who is producing and manufacturing the plane. So what can we expect from Horizon?
Well, this was a question which you didn't ask us for preparation, so I can't give you an answer. No, sorry. I'm joking. I'm joking, of course. That was what you can expect. I mean, our roadmap is full. I mean, we have ideas, but we would like to implement also inputs from our valuable customers. And for the next 2-3 years, we really know what we want to develop. And our main focus is always on stability, scalability, that you have zero downtime, that you have the best service possible. That's always the main focus. And of course, we have to build what you guys need to work, the right instrument. One on the messaging platforms and SS7 platforms that you are very successful there. Increasing automation, but then on the marketing side, of course, all those omni-channel tools. By the way, Bernardo, we have all that what you are looking for. So it's there, it exists.
Now that was
we have it. I'm sorry. So in putting more efforts there, what marketeers wants, still have all those channels ready. Even we know it's early experimenting with APIs, bot APIs, and so on. And also, what is one of our strategy is that we like partnerships. That means we don't have the idea that we do everything by ourselves. For instance, security. I think there are companies, they are specialized in that. They have excellent people there. So I would not even think about, that we can do it better. So what we provide are APIs, so to smart people which do it so much better than us. So why I should hassle if I have professionals? And the same thing with bots and so on. So we have the concept of being an open box and not a black box. And this is in our vision more and more what we are applying to partner with any kind of third-party systems to make the value chain even more important.
That's it.
That's it.
You're done.
I did not prepare myself, so
True that. So thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you, Anastasia. Thank you so much. Fabrizio, Bernardo, thank you so
Welcome.
much. But also you, thank you. Okay. And I hope you have no questions anymore. And if you do, they're here, they're alive. You can touch them. I know, but that's cost a bit more. So we'll come to that. No, but I would like to thank you so much for being here this morning, this early. Enjoy Miami. We have more to come. In an hour from now, we're going to talk even more. That will be the last panel, but thank you so much.